Hi, I'm the one true divine feminine and psychic investigator. Um, and I'm going live because yesterday somebody snatched up my Vimeo. And so I'm going to go ahead and go live today so I can get this thing started. And I just want to start by saying we're going to blow up tarot. Oh, yes, we are. I'm the one true divine feminine, and I solved my own crime using astrology. I'm a psychic investigator. I ask that you accept me. I'm a strong woman. Sometimes there are things that I just know. And I use my intuition to solve crimes. And every time I get it right, God shines his grace on me. I'm backed by divine white light. Ain't no witchcraft up here. Got goodness all up in this piece, and I believe in the one true divine. If you want wisdom, look to your chart because your life is literally written in the stars. And tarot cards help too. All right, one true divine feminine. We're going to go live. Why? Because God's guided me. My ancestors have guided me to do this. And so I'm going to do it. Plus, so many people have been telling my story that I thought it was maybe time that I told my own story. So I've already shuffled, laid out the cards. They're different than the ones I had the other day because, well, that video got because a lot of things in my life have been going lately. But we're going to blow up tarot because this is the real story, right? This is what I've been through. And I'm hoping we can all learn from it, right? And make a better path forward for our country. That's really my wish. All right, we're going to start with the first card. And this one did show up yesterday, and I love it. The Ace of Swords. And swords always has to do with communications. It has a lot to do with the sign of Mercury. And ones or beginnings always come from the divine. And what I love about this card, and I mean, I really love it, is this one is crowned by light, right? So it is truly a gift from the divine. And you can see all of the light all around as if the new beginning, which ones are always about new beginnings, is truly blessed. And I love it because this new beginning has come out of quite a period of darkness and turmoil, and you can see that all around, and that's really true. I've had kind of a 6-year turmoil that I have been through, but I have a really big spirit, right? And I have survived. I have undercovers in my neighborhood keeping me safe. I have people trying to stop me from eating and working. I have people who have tried to kill me, but I'm still here. God bless the FBI. New beginning in communications. I'm so excited. Okay, we have the Lovers right here. This always indicates, choices and partners. You can see that there's opposites that attract all throughout, right? And kind of looming behind the Lovers is sort of a wizard character, a hierophant, like the marriage ceremony, people coming together because of love. And contrary to popular belief, I am actually married. And no, I've never met the divine masculine. I've never even spoken to the divine masculine. And I certainly haven't laid the divine masculine, contrary to what many tarot card readers are saying, because I have a divine partner already and have for 35 years, a monogamous relationship. So I hope you have a good partner too, but this is all about love and the coming together of opposites. Okay, 6 of Cups. I love cups. Cups have a lot to do with emotion, related to water signs like Pisces and Scorpio and Cancer. And this is a good sign because the cups are all golden. They're all filled. They're even overflowing. And so there's just a sense of good emotions everywhere, of pleasure, of happiness, of celebration, people coming together, right? And you can see, there's maybe a little bit of rough waters here. Anytime you have images of water, always check out how rough the water is. I've learned in dream state that it's very important to pay attention to what the water looks like, because really rough water means that you're going through some emotional turmoil, whereas still waters are nice unless they start to look soupy and stagnant, right? And then it can mean that you're kind of mired down with emotions. But in this case, it just looks like a happy, pleasureful existence right here. Lots of love. Okay. We have the Magus. And Magus is all related to the sign of Mercury. And you can see he's called the winged messenger, and there he is. He's got the wings on his feet. He flies through our chart at rapid speed. Where he lands in your astrology chart will tell you a whole lot about how you learn, how you communicate, how you process information, what news might be coming in. He has a very strong link to the sign Gemini. And I kind of like this image because Geminis tend to like to talk about a lot of things on the surface, kind of flitty across things. And you can see he's just throwing things out here. Oh, let's talk about this. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about everything else. And so he tends to be more of a chit-chatty person than someone that drills down in. And yet he's the bringer of news. So when you see this card, you can expect a phone call, an email, some kind of beginning in communications or important things showing up. Okay, here we have the Five of Cups. And again, all you have to do is kind of look at the imagery, right? Here the cups are empty. The emotions are not full. They're not feeling good. Even the plants that are like surrounding it look like dark weeds, right? And the water, again, is stagnant. It looks a little bit cesspool-y like. Fives tend to have a lot to do with conflict. And so we have like disappointment and emotional affairs here. And you can clearly see that with this card. Now we have the Tower, baby. Oh, are the towers flying? As I have been told, I'm causing towers all over the world. And I'm certainly causing some towers for the people that have been trying to, me. Right? Yeah, my story is so effed up, you couldn't possibly imagine it. And yet towers are happening. Why? Because I have good police working on things. I have dedicated FBI guys helping out and women. And they're helping to bring the towers to the people who have been plotting against me and helping to bring peace back into our country. Anyhow, you can see with the tower, like there's a building here and it is crashing. And as it crashes, people are just fleeing, jumping out. And it's almost like there's a big monster here who's trying to blow everything up, right? And in truth, this card is really about transformation because it's about structures that are no longer working or serving a person or a country well to come falling down, right? Just to come crumbling down. And it isn't for the ruination. It is so that something better can be erected in its place. And the way you can tell that, as you can see at the top, it's like the eye of the Most High God is overwatching the process. And in truth, there are things that are happening with towers to bring about better outcomes, right? For our country, for people, even to help people grow emotionally, to come to terms with things. And yes, you might have to go through a dark night of the soul in order to jump out of the tower and wait for the transformation. But if you don't jump out of the tower, brother, the whole thing's coming down, right? And we have some people that just don't want to jump out of that tower. They're happy with where they are, and that means things are likely going to get worse for them, right? So you can look at it as a blessing if you want. There's often peace on the other side if you can manage to find your way through the dark night of the soul, but if you can't, the walls are crumbling down. Okay. The Emperor. I like this card. It has a lot of fire to it. This is a man in charge, a man who's been through all of the other male signs of the deck, someone who has arrived. You can tell he's got a scepter here, right? I say he's fiery because it's got that orange and red color to it imbued in it, which means inspiration and going on a journey and using your wisdom for higher knowledge. And I also like the fact that his journey that he's taking seems to be protected. He's got a shield here. He seems like he's representative of the state. He's got a flag. We've got goats up in the side, which means Capricorn. So he probably worked very hard using Saturn as his guiding light to get things done in the proper fashion, using the rules, regulations, and systems to make things happen. I understand I have a great deal that I owe to a King of Swords because he is like an emperor to me because he was able to cut through the BS, right? God bless the King of Swords and emperors who, truly embrace that wanting to do what's right for the state and make things right. I really appreciate that. Now, the devil, of course, we know the devil exists, right? We see it in witchcraft covens all the time with a growing problem in the US. We see it with people who are bound to addictions. And you can see here, it's like the goat, he's like strapped to that pole. He's not free. And the people that he's manipulating are also trapped in horrible bubbles. They're stagnant. They're tied to things like drugs and alcohol and awful things, crimes that they've committed, sex trafficking, pedophilia, stuff like that. And the devil binds. And of course, I've had so many people try to bind me with awful stuff, but I have a good spirit, right? I'm not perfect, but I have a good spirit. And a lot of the stuff that they tried to bind to me, well, return to sender, right? Because that stuff belongs to them. So that's their devilish energy and it belongs on their spirit. And they never should have tried to put that, onto my spirit. So return to sender, baby. Love that. Okay, we got the Wheel of Fortune. We know the wheel's turning, right? I've had 6 years where I've been kind of held down under the water, right? People trying to starve me out, bury me alive in a box, sex traffic me, all of this kind of stuff, right? But the wheel's turning because the truth is coming out. And when you're sitting at the top of the wheel, things look good in your life. Now, sometimes, we have little monkeys on the side who are trying to pull the wheel and make things happen that shouldn't be happening. There's a lot of that going on right now. A lot of it's happening with delays and stuff like that. But nonetheless, I think good things are coming my way, and I'm appreciative to every single person who's worked so hard to help me. I really do. The real police, the real FBI, the real deals in every agency. God bless. Now down here, we see also a little alligator spirit, and he's kind of halfway between the person sitting on the top and the person who's trying to yank the wheel where they want. He's got tools. He's trying to just form his own destiny. So he's trying to, work hard to make things happen too. But you can see sometimes when the wheel's turning, there can be a lot of chaos around because sometimes people don't want you to have what's your birthright and they want to be you instead. And all I can say is, if you had lived through the last 6 years that I've lived through, I think you would change your mind, right? I paid dearly for saving our democracy. I did. Okay. Valor, the Seven of Wands. Wands usually indicate some kind of journey. Can have a lot to do with sex, can have a lot to do with creativity. Sevens themselves tend to have a lot to do with conflict and kind of a fiery nature. So you can see there's like 6 wands behind, right? There's a lot of people going at cross purposes, which I think we have in our country right now. And yet there is a victorious person standing in the front. So, and that's because they were strong They had valor. They were able to get through, right? Um, and I'm hoping all the turmoil that we have in our country, we will be able to come through too. And I think one way we could do that without having the chaos would be territories where everybody could get more of what they wanted without the big lie and the cheating and all that stuff, right? Because we're all Americans and we should all love each other, right? We shouldn't be going through this kind of chaos in a beautiful country like America. Okay, the adjustment card. Well, this is really about justice. This is just how this particular deck, the Crowley deck, depicts it. But you can see there's a person in the middle with a very large sword, and they're very balanced on that sword, trying to pierce to the truth. And in piercing to the truth, they're trying to weigh everything very carefully and come out with some judgment, right? Some justice. And I know that's been happening for me behind the scenes. I know there have been many false cases brought to, and a lot of insanity, but there have definitely been some people working very hard to help me to recoup what was meant to be mine from the beginning but got stolen. Um, it is what it is, right? Again, I'm not a material person. Um, my goal was always to alchemize the horror that I went through and turn it into something good. But what I really want for our country is for us to get off this path we're on and turn it into something good so that this is a good place to live and invest in. And we should all want that in our hearts, right? No matter what. We're all one people, right? Oh, I feel like I'm going to sneeze. So if I do, forgive me. I have allergies. Okay. Victory with wands. Okay, here the energy's balanced, right? And so in the end, I think everything's going to work out just fine, right? I might still have some hardships to go through, but there's a lot of fire, a lot of inspiration. Things are already getting balanced out. And my spirit has survived. I've been put through quite a bit of turmoil, right? But I'm still here and I've gotten stronger. I've learned a lot. And my end goal is just to become a bigger, better, more beautiful human being as a result of what I've gone through. And also to wish the absolute best for my country, right? And I put that in the air so that we can realize what a precious thing we have. Come together, come to the table. Let's talk about how we can work things out so we all get a victory, right? And of course, one of the ways I did this, everybody talks about this, was I went in hermit mode for quite some time. It was the only way I was able to survive what was happening. But I love the Hermit card. It has a lot to do with Virgo, which has to do with service, how you try to be of service to the world. It has much to do with learning and systems and trying to find perfect systems that work. And the way you get out of the dark night of the soul, which you could see is around this person, is you have to look to your inner light, right? And he's carrying that, and that's like your spirit. You have to go deep within. You have to, have some big talks with God. You have to trust in God. You have to look for that inner light to be able to overcome some of the worst things you could ever possibly imagine could be put on a human being. And you have to be able to do that so that you can birth something new. And I like that because there's the symbol of the egg here with the snake. And snakes can often be very transformative and healing. I know people tend to think of them as snakes in the grass, and sometimes they can be that. But in this case, this is really about bringing something new into being and bringing a person's light into the world, right? Because no human being, nor any group of human beings, should ever want to snuff out the light of another person, because that's not godlike, right? God imbues us all with a unique spirit, and that spirit is meant to shine out into the world. So it should never be snuffed out by anybody. And you certainly shouldn't pay secret societies, or they shouldn't be paying like hit money to snuff a person's light out, right? Just doesn't sound good, does it? Now, to get to that inner light and that inner wisdom and that God energy, sometimes you do have to go through snakes that aren't meaning well, or like dark guards that were lurking in this dark night of the soul, the Cerberus three-headed wolf dog energy. And you've got a couple of them looking forward, like, okay, we see better things coming, but you still have one of them. He's looking back going, what the else is coming? But I tell you what, I have a big spirit and I'm overcoming. Yes, I am. So the money that you paid was worthless, 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 worthless. Oh, yes. And I'm just going to get to be a bigger and stronger and more beautiful soul because of it, no matter how many times you've tried. Okay, the Hierophant. I love the beauty of this card. In the upright, the Hierophant's a good guy, right? An upright Hierophant is a loving, kind, decent man of faith. It can be any faith, because, of course, in this country, we have many faiths, right? He has the key to the castle. He's enlightened. He has strong energy all around him, right? When he's in the upright, he can bring wonderful things to the world, right? Wisdom, knowledge, help people out, do all sorts of good things. And we need more of this. Now, when you get a Hierophant upside down, that's when you get like an insurrection pastor, or people trying to overthrow the government, or somebody who's not operating in high vibration, possibly people who are doing, spiritual warfare that it's not really all that spiritual, So it just depends. Are you a godly person who really taps into the light and love and beauty and decency of our Creator? Or are you on your head? Well, that's a choice everybody has to make, right? Swords, incoming information, right? 9 of Swords. This one's a tough one. I've actually hit the 10 of Swords, but to get to the 10, you got to go through the 9. And it has a lot to do with cruelty. You can see these swords have drawn blood, right? And they were meant to draw blood. They were stuck in there with intention. In some cases, to keep stolen money. Sometimes just because, they didn't like my particular light. Who knows why? A lot of it had to do with holding me back, holding me down, and stifling my spirit. Good luck with that. You might win on a day or two, but I'm getting stronger. I'm bouncing back. My spirit's going to be more beautiful than it ever was. So all that money you paid. The Princess of Wands. I love this. Again, you can see very fiery energy, like Leo, creativity, passion, a joy for life. This one I love because you see there's a woman here. She's the Princess of Wands, and she has a tiger by the tail. It's like she's mastered the Leo energy. She is no longer afraid. She's not being held back. She's in charge. She's mastering her Leo energies. She's working on that heart center, that creativity, finding her own path forward, warm, ebullient. When Leo is in a good condition, it can be such a beautiful, warm, fun, dramatic energy, right? When it's not in good condition, it can result in people trying to suck the life force out of other people's heart centers. And the truth of the matter of what needs to happen is that person those kind of people need to develop their own heart centers, their own creativity, their own paths, because that's what Leo demands, is that you develop yourself, right? And I love the antennas, because whenever you see antennas coming out of a person's head, or maybe like arcs out of a crown, it's because there's higher perception. So they're tapping into higher wisdom here. So I really love that. And we have the Sun. And of course, the Sun is a beautiful card. It's the will, the spirit, the soul. Not only do we have this in ourselves, but our country has a spirit and a soul. And when it's in the upright, it's just a joyful thing to watch. Again, related to Leo, the fifth house in astrology. And you can see there's, children here playing, they're being very creative. There's rainbow colors all around. When we're high vibing, it's beautiful. And we are going through a Pluto return in the US of A, which linked back to 248 years ago, which started in 1776 during the American Revolution. And our sun is kind of right now a little bit like this because we're going through a lot of the same growing pains that we went through back then. Only I'm hoping that we can get past that and be wiser because during the American Revolution, we had, especially in the Boston area, about 10 years of violence, lots of mob violence, hazing, doing horrible things to people to embarrass them, stripping people naked, tarring and feathering them, beating them with sticks, carting them around, all of that. So the joy of history is you don't have to repeat terrible mistakes like that if you're wise. You can say, oh, okay, we're all feeling the need for change. We all want our American sun to rise. I want my sun, my spirit to rise. So instead of all of the big lies, cheating and on the walls and all of that, how do we pull ourselves together to work together so that we can consciously create a beautiful, sunshining path for the future of our country, right? We have the most precious thing in the world, and we should be doing everything to work together to make sure that our sun is in the upright position, despite the fact that Pluto in Capricorn is causing tons of corruption, tons of mismanagement, tons of abuses of power, and literal desire to overthrow what we have. Now, for wise, we'll recognize all of the signs along the wall, and instead of going through insanity, we'll sit down and figure out a good path forward together, right? Red and blue working together. The Prince of Wands. This is a young man. He's going on a fiery journey. You can see he's got a chariot. The chariots always represent forward momentum. Again, the reds and yellows, fiery, inspiration, creativity, all of that sort of thing. And definite link, once again, to the sign of Leo because he's got a lion pulling the chariot forward. He's got a very strong scepter, and he even almost looks like he has got like fire fueling the whole journey. So this could be someone who's just setting out on a new path with lots of ambition and excitement. He does have like the arcs, like I said, so it's like he is tapping into that higher wisdom. So this again is a beautiful card. All right, now I do love this card, and I kept this one from the other day because, this is just gorgeous. This is a sacred geometry deck, and this is called One Drop. And you can see, we're all unique, right? Here we are as an individual in this great sea of life. And we all have special talents, special gifts, special things inside of us that should come out to bear in the world for the world to be a better place, which again is why snuffing the light out of another human being is basically akin to murder, right? We should never want to do that. We should want to protect this precious bubble. And if people are having a hard time with what they've created in that bubble, help them to create something better if it's at all possible. Now, aside from the beauty of the individual drop, the one drop, what I love is we all come from the same source, right? We all come from this magical, universal life source. And people call it different things. They call God, they call Buddha, Hindu masters, Muslim, Allah, all kinds of things, right? We're all from the same source. Men, women, all of us, black, white, we're all from the same universal force. And as we move into Pluto in Aquarius, which is coming in 2023, we're going to see more of humanity rising up because the Brotherhood of Man wants to see us get along better as a race. And it certainly wants our country to get along better. And it wants systems in place that are going to honor people and not corruption not corporations, not big business and government to the point that it's abusing people's rights, but more just that ebb and flow of love that our divine creator gives all of us, right here. Okay. Moonlight god, goddess. Okay, I love moonlight because so many things are revealed by the light of the moon, right? And I know the FBI probably thinks I'm quite a little character because I see 3 forms where I make astrology predictions. And as it turns out, some of them have been spot on. And during one eclipse, I said, hey, you really need to pay attention here because something big is going to get revealed. Because the moon reveals that which is hidden, right? It reveals that which is hidden. And in this case, they revealed a plot to bury me alive in a box, right? So the moon can do that. And when it's more full, it does that. But it also can help you to tap into emotions, even the subconscious, which is why I love hypnotherapy, because it allows you to delve deep down into your spirit to work on issues hidden within, right? And that allows for healing to occur. And this says, also deal with repressed emotions, healing, and reflection. Moon also has a lot to do with cancer, families, motherhood, food, nostalgia, and even history, right? So there we have it, a beautiful spread. I was going to start with this, but I'll end with it just so you know a little bit. But, I am the one true divine feminine and psychic investigator. I've had many people claim to be me, but I'm the actual person that all of this happened to. And of course, it's been intriguing because I've watched some people tell the story, and some of it they've gotten spot on. Some people are super dialed in, and then others have half of the story, and some of them have completely wrong bits and pieces of the story, right? But my purpose, or at least part of my purpose in life, is to bring light and love to the universe. I do believe in a higher power. I believe in the same power that many Christians in this country do, but I go about it very differently. But we're all good people. And I welcome all people to this channel. Everybody here is absolutely loved. I don't care about outward trappings. I don't care about a skin color. All I care is what you have inside, right? Man, woman, different faiths. It's all good. Everybody's welcome here. And I seek the highest good, purpose, and health for all human beings. And I pray for the grace of God to shine on your back, just as He has shown on mine. Even though I still have some hard days, I have been blessed tremendously with help, with spirit guides, with tarot card readers who have helped to change my life. And I owe a lot of you. And I do plan to make good on that, right? Even just for the upliftment of my spirit through a dark night of the soul that went on for quite some time. Now, that being said, this is a space to heal, to overcome, to shine, and to reach our highest potential, because a true loving God would want that for every single person all over the world. Now, sometimes to become your best self, that does mean you have to go through extreme hardships, coals, fire, disaster, the towers, right? Sometimes you have to go through a lot of stuff. But if you allow it, and I'm not going to say it's easy nor a quick process, because it certainly wasn't for me, you can manage to get through your worst trials and tribulations and come out an even stronger and better human being. And miracles do happen. They happen every single day, right? And I've had them happen in my life more than once. So how do I know? I've survived more things in my life than you could ever possibly imagine. Again, I've had people who've had so many murder plots, kidnap plots, and things on my life. It would shock a normal person. And yet I have guardian angels in the form of good police, good agents, people watching over me, helping to ensure that doesn't happen. I have outfoxed hitmen, witches, Lots of witches. I mean, oh my Lord, help me. And poisoning attempts. It's my firm belief somebody did poison my husband 3 times, but I was not poisoned, right? Or not that I know of. I have also overcome a deadly bout of cancer, and I did it using my own faith, right? Prayer, visualizations, yoga, chanting, um, all kinds of natural healing techniques, and eating raw food for 8 years straight. And I still eat quite a bit of raw food. I have scaled mountains in the wilderness on 10-day trips, carrying a 60-pound pack. So the divine feminine is about facing lots of odds, difficulties, hardships, and overcoming. And here, we're about the truth and becoming the very best version of ourselves so we can spread more joy, light, love, and angelic vibes across the cosmos. All right, I am so glad to finally be able to join you guys. I hope this works. Please know all the tarot card readers who have helped me. God bless you in every possible way. I'm working on a way to try to get even. I know I owe so many of you so much. And I believe my ships are going to come in, right? It may take I've looked ahead, right? Because I'm an astrologer. It's going to take a little while, but it'll happen in divine timing. In the meantime, I'm getting myself more stable uh, with things. So, anyhow, people like Philosophical, God bless, Larasha, Chiron Intuition, um, Bronwyn's Cove, Australia, you know, just wonderful people. And God bless each and every one of you. God bless good FBI agents. God bless. God bless good police. God bless people who are trying to fix our justice system. God bless America. We need it right now more than you could ever know. And yes, we are going to blow up tarot. That's a fact, right? And yes, I did solve my own crime with the help of great detectives, private eyes, other helpers with astrology. And I only ever use it for good in the world. And tarot cards help too. God bless the universe. It's the divine feminine, the one true divine feminine and psychic investigator saying thank you to the world. And God bless our beautiful country. Come to the table.